certainly blessed to have worked with many of our panelists, and I must say that this group has a track record of Black empowerment. I can say that with confidence. So considering the annual report on MWBE procurement that the controller just referenced, the city has not done a good job of doing meaningful business with Black people. But there is hope. We have a comptroller and a mayor who want to improve the numbers, and during our discussion today, we'll hear from our panel what true economic empowerment in the Black community really looks like. So I'll have our panelists introduce themselves, and I want you to also tell our audience how you do business with New York City or how you facilitate doing business with New York City. Seth.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the comptroller and Taffy for inviting me to participate on this panel. It's really just beautiful to do so and to be amongst you all at this incredible incredible space in Harlem. This is, I feel like sacred space, the State Office Building in Harlem, and it's just an honor to be here. My name is Seth Bryant. I'm the managing partner of a law firm called Bryant Rubino. We're a transactional boutique based in Midtown. Saying we're a transactional boutique, what that means is that we do deals. We don't sue people, and we don't defend anybody in lawsuits. We help people accomplish their goals, and we're proud to have been around for 14 years doing that and to continue doing that. As it is Black History Month, I'll share a little bit of my personal biography and connect it to some of our history. I was born and raised in Buffalo, New York. And my family on my mother's side got to Buffalo by way of Tulsa. My great grandfather, A.J. Smitherman, God rest his soul, was a lawyer, and so I'm proud to be a lawyer following in his footsteps. But he was also a publisher of a newspaper, a daily newspaper called the Tulsa Star, and he was a leader in Black Wall Street. And by the grace of God, he was able to escape the massacre that I'm sure you're all very much aware of, and to relocate the family to Buffalo, which was, I think, purposeful because it was close to Canada, and in case he needed to get away from extradition orders, which Tulsa and the state of Oklahoma sought at one point. In terms of our firm in practice, we do a good amount of work with New York City. We're one of New York City's bond counsel firms, and I'm proud to say that in 2022 we were ranked number 7 in the country by the bond buyer as bond counsel, which which is a testament in many respects to Mike Garner. We represent MTA, and Mike was Chief Diversity Officer at the MTA, and the work in the city to really make sure that MWBEs have opportunities in the city. I think it's true, 100% true, that more work needs to be done. But I think I stand here to say that if you bring a solid team and bring solid credentials, there are opportunities, and I'm even more excited about those opportunities with the comptroller and under the Adams administration. So we do bond work, we do real estate work with New York City's HPD, and we do other work with many state authorities and city agencies. And so it's just a real privilege to be here to speak with you guys about the MWBE opportunities and what we've experienced as an MBE law firm in New York City.
Thank you, Seth.
I'll stand up for a second. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I see people moving around. I'm Carl Wallace, and it is great to be home. I consider the Comptroller's office home. I see so many folks around that really became family. So just a little about me, and I'll just, I'm a little senior on this panel, so I'll speak about my time here in New York. And I have to tell you, I have been so blessed to work on incredible teams. And so when I first got to New York, I got to work under Governor David Patterson and Paul Williams. I was a part of the DASNY team and part of the push for the legislation, the Diversification Act. And we signed it in this building, and it was just powerful work, and it really did change the game for a lot of firms, a lot of people. And then after doing that Diversification Act and doing everything we did at DASNY at the state level, I was asked by Comptroller Scott Stringer to be the Chief Diversity Officer for New York City's Comptroller's Office. And again, working with an incredible team, we were really able to push the needle, not far enough, but did make some progress with diverse asset managers, really a lot of it in the financial services. And the great thing that a lot of you may even take for granted is as New York goes, the rest of the country follows. So we were able to get to DC back when President Obama was in office, and they really heard us, and you saw a lot of movement around the country on this. And again, we have a lot more to do, but when I look at the Sefs of the world who got into the Red Book, from the bond deals he did at DASNY, and that's a big thing for a law firm to get into the Red Book, to be able to do these deals. I think of Jim Reynolds, Suzanne Shank, who are some of the top bond issuers now. Jim just bought a fixed income shop that's worth $10 billion. He acquired a couple of firms, and that's how you grow and scale. He's also working with Magic Johnson, and they're building out Terminal 1. That's true success when this works. So really happy to be doing this work. And I have to tell you, so when I stepped down from working with Scott Stringer after his first term, I thought I was going to go do what other people do when they are above 50 and they say, hey, what do I want to be when I grow up? So started a consulting firm, Optimized Diversity Solutions, thought I'd help MWBEs that really wanted to participate. And along the way, I got a call from Reverend Al Sharpton to come work with him on his push from going from civil rights to economic justice. And what was supposed to be a year is now 4 years later, and I tell you, I'm working with one of the hardest working men on this planet. And I just have to tell you, I'm, again, just so blessed because this work is so rewarding. And, it's hard, and there's sometimes you get knocked down, but the other times when you see the fruits of your labor, it's nothing like it. So glad to be here.
Thank you, Carla.
So, good evening. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you, Comptroller Lander, and the New York City staff, and all the sponsors for, I think, this very important topic and important panel. So, my name is Sengal Selassie. I'm the founder and managing partner of Brightwood Capital. Brightwood Capital is a private credit firm, and so what we do is we make loans to small and mid-sized businesses. We do one thing. We've grown to about $5 billion of assets under management, and very unusual in a space where you don't see managers and teams that look like us doing it in that scale. So it's in that context we have partnered with New York City, and we manage money for all 5 of their pension funds. So for New York City teachers, fire, police, NYCers, and Board of Education. And that's what drives us. We know that if we do a better job, that will let somebody have a better retirement. That will let them afford to have maybe better care for an aging or ailing family member. And so it's with that purpose that we get up every morning to do what we do. And it's personal to us. I'm from New York City. So my mom was a New York City teacher for 30 years, my late mom. May she rest in peace. And so I've seen directly the impact and the work that the Comptroller's Office and that the city does on this behalf. The work we do together is important work. Access to capital in general, but access to debt capital in particular is really a key part of the next phase that Kara's working on with economic empowerment and the like. And historically, it's been this lack of access to capital that has been a big barrier, whether it was redlining on the individual front or the same effective thing. It doesn't have the same term, but on the business front. The number of businesses, we're probably in our space, I think one of the few firms that does have a fund that's dedicated where 100% of the capital goes to minority, women, military, veteran-owned businesses. And I think if you have managers like us, you tend to put that back into the community. So it's an honor to be here, and thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I am so honored to be here. I have to be honest with you. Looking at this panel and have reading about my fellow panelists, I'm like, what did I do to get on this panel, y'all? I'm like the little fish here, and I honestly want to just introduce myself and sit with y'all and learn from them. So I hope that I can live up to this dynamic panel that I am part of tonight. My name is Tamika Flowers Ball. I am the founder and CEO of Epiphany Blue. I've been doing this Epiphany Blue since 2006, so we celebrate 17 years this year. And we are an experiential services agency, so we do corporate event planning. We also do employee engagement and wellness, so we come in and make your employees feel good. And then we also do a lot of work in youth and community outreach, so we do a lot of programming for parents and the community and youth centered around development and personally, professionally, which is where my heart is. But yes, we do the corporate events too. I started this work because I felt there was a need to really bring quality programming into my community. I am born and raised in Brooklyn, East New York, to be specific, the planet of Brooklyn. I hear some woo-woos. Y'all can make some noise for Brooklyn. Okay. I started this company years ago. It was a celebrity and talent booking agency. Talk about a complete turn of events. But I realized that where my heart really lied was really empowering my community and really doing events that made a difference. Not something where I'm just standing outside waiting for a celebrity to show up to a party. No, it was how do we empower our community? How do we make it so that they are uplifted, they are motivated? And so that's where our work focuses on. It's just really making sure that the community is served. We are not a nonprofit, obviously, but we do a lot of social entrepreneurship and a lot of social outreach. And I am a proud partner and vendor of New York City. I am so proud to do that. I became certified in 2014. And in my first year of certification, I was doing pretty well for myself. I had a lot of corporate clients, but in my first year of certification as an MWBE, I increased my revenue by 500%. And I was able to finally hire some really cool staff that really took my company to the next level. But most importantly, I was able to then consult and advise other up-and-coming certified minority women-owned businesses, especially our Black businesses. As I was talking with a young lady who I'm not going to look at right now in the audience just now about doing work with the Department of Education. I love stuff like that. I really love doing that. So aside from the work I do, it's just really important to me to be in this space so that I can then bring others to this space as well. And through the help of everybody on this panel, Michael Garner definitely was a part of the program, but I know all the work he's done. We are able to achieve our dreams, right? It's our dreams. We're able to make our dreams, our wildest dreams, our reality, and I've been able to do that through my partnerships with New York City, particularly with the Department of Education, School Construction Authority, and Department of Youth and Community Development, and others. Anybody in here who are open and ready to work with you. But and thank you for having me here, and again, on this dynamic panel. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to answering any questions later. Thank you, Tamika.
So good evening. It feels good being home. I was born in Harlem, raised in Chicago, but I was born in Harlem Hospital, and now I'm on the board of Harlem Hospital, so everything comes full circle. Let me just commend our city controller, Brad Landner, who was with us yesterday, visiting state senators' offices and state assembly people, because we have 9 items at the city of New York under the effective leadership of Mayor Adams want to get passed up in Albany during this session. And if all 9 are passed, it's going to allow us to award contracts not only in a cost-effective manner because it's taxpayers' money is being spent, but in an inclusive manner. The mayor is zealous, aggressive in creating equity and wealth in the Black and brown and Asian American neighborhoods and communities. Let me say that his vision is to award $25 billion by 2026 and double that to $60 billion by the year 2030. And guess what's going to happen? He's going to do it. He's going to do it. And so we're not fearful of audits because audits tell you where you need to improve and you embrace that. So we're going to work together with our city controller because we have the same goals and the same interests of driving equity. And let me just share with you, I'm from Harlem, so I'm going to share with you some of the texts that I've been getting all day on the 2%. And so this person said that we are not doing this 2% MWBE shit again. And that was a New York State Senator, James Sanders. And guess what? He's right. He's right. We're not doing this again. And so in 14 years, as Seth knows, at the MTA, which is the largest transportation network in North America, a $1 trillion organization when you incorporate all the MTA's real estate and equipment, we paid $17.3 billion in 14 years to minority women-owned firms. 37% of that went to Black and Hispanic-owned businesses because we focus on the disparity within the disparity. And we're going to do the same thing at the city in a very, very short period of time. But this is a very historic moment. I was looking at the late, great Adam Clayton Powell's photograph on the back. And the late congressman, he got 87 pieces of anti-poverty legislation passed. A lot of those programs we benefited from. College student loan programs, Head Start, CETA, model cities. And when you talk about Harlem, you really need to look at the Gang of Four, whose shoulders we stand on. That's Mayor David Dinkins, Percy Sutton, Basil Patterson, and of course, the Dean, Congressman Charlie Rangel. And so I'm just happy to be part of this solution-oriented panel. We talk about investment banking and growing up in Chicago. Chicago had more Black millionaires than any other city in this country because of segregation. If you listen to Jim Reynolds, he says that a lot of Blacks got to become millionaires because of segregation, and you had a focused, captive Black audience. And so in 1980, you may have gone to Nigeria, and you saw a ebony Jet magazine, and it's too late for me, but Johnson hair care products. And all those products emanated out of Chicago because of segregation. And so we are looking forward to executing and driving the mission of Mayor Eric Adams, who is going to drive equity through to the Black and brown and Asian communities. Thank you.